Welcome to Demo, the show where companies come in and show us their latest products and features. I'm joined today by Shankar from Assimily, and he's going to show us some IoT security platform, right?
Yes, absolutely. And thanks, Keith, for having me here.
So what the product you're going to be showing me is called Assimily Insight, correct?
That's right.
And who is this product designed for, and what kind of things you do, and what problems are you solving for people?
Yeah, so this product is, Assimily's focus is on OT environments, so healthcare, smart cities, manufacturing, universities, that kind. So our focus is on CISOs and CIOs who want to get visibility into their IoT, OT, IoMT devices, who want to do vulnerability management, threat detection into their environments. They want to do incident response. They want to do configuration control, patching, and so on.
Without a platform like this, what would they end up doing? What would a company do to try to gain that visibility?
It's really hard because what people do today is manual. Right? They try to manually count the devices, walk around, get information on their devices, and you know how it works. By the time you complete one circle, new devices have come in, you're back to square one.
Right. Okay. So this takes a digital approach to making checking all of your
automates.
IoT.
It's completely automated. It makes it simpler, efficient, less expensive, a number of benefits.
Okay, so let's jump into the demo and show us a couple of features of the platform and take it away.
Okay, thanks a lot, Keith. So here I have the Assimily platform open. So I'll give you a quick overview of the Assimily platform, and then I'll walk into 2 or 3 features that customers generally use. So the Assimily platform. So first of all, before I talk about the platform, this is a snapshot of a customer. It's real data. It's not made up with permission from the customer, and it's completely anonymized. So you won't see any customer data. Some has been removed.
Okay.
And the way we gather the data is by putting an appliance inside the network where we can gather the data passively. So we're not scanning any device. We have the option of scanning devices as well. So if you don't have the ability to completely passively scan, we can scan and get the same information using our proprietary methodology. But considering the environments we are in, a lot of customers prefer us to get data passively.
Okay.
And this is all automated end to end. We are not entering any information here. So what happens is once the customer deploys, literally in less than an hour, they can do the deployment. They log into a web portal and then they are able to see all this data. So when you log into the web portal, generally you see a summary screen. First you see a summary screen which has different charts and graphs. I'll walk through 2 or 3 use cases. You have an asset screen, which has more information about the assets in the environment. You click on a device, you have detailed device information, ports, applications, so on. You have a configuration screen where you can configure the solution in many different ways. Then you have a reporting screen where there's a ton of reports, and then you can bookmark whatever pages you want. Okay, so that's really the structure of the product.
Okay.
So let's walk over a couple of 3 or 4 use cases that I mentioned. So right at the top, you can't see the full thing here, but there are 104,000 devices that we have discovered. This includes IT devices, IoT devices, OT devices, IoMT devices. So anything, could be an IP camera, a printer, a badge reader, a SCADA controller, a PLC, an infusion pump, whatever is the environment, we discover, we classify, we categorize.
If this was like a smart cities environment or an infrastructure, light sensors,
traffic processing units, wastewater plants are there. So PLCs, SCADA controllers, RTUs, sensors, all of that. Right.
Okay.
If this was in healthcare, you'd have infusion pump, ultrasound. University, you'd find printers, IP cameras, whatever.
Right.
So this includes everything. We do discover IT workstation servers because those are part of the environment. So we do discover and categorize them, but our focus is on IoT, OT, IoMT.
Okay.
Then this tells you what percentage of those devices have at least one vulnerability. High likelihood tells you what percentage of devices have at least one vulnerability that can be taken advantage of by an attacker.
So in this case, you had 104,000
devices.
And so 1,300, so that's
1.3% approximately. And that's one of our core IPs. We are able to narrow it down to around 1% of the devices, and it even gets better when you actually look further in classification. This tells you what percentage of devices potentially can be taken advantage of by an attacker.
Yep.
But right now, we aren't yet telling what percentage of them are high impact in your environment. I'll get to that.
And then we get to the next one, which is high
risk. And then this is anomaly.
Yeah.
Likelihood is what can happen in the future based on vulnerabilities. Anomalies are current threats in the environment. Any misconfigurations, any default username passwords, any malware, all of that is included. Any lack of regulation because you're regulated in these environments, anywhere where you're not following regulation, so on, is all covered in anomaly. Okay. So let's go into the inventory use case. So this chart tells you what are the top 10 device type manufacturers, OS device families, and you can click on see all. Now you can drill into any one of them, but if you click on see all, it'll take you to the page where it'll show you all the devices in the environment, and we let it load. And then from here, you can effectively slice and dice the data in more than 40 different ways, right? You can say, show me all the device types in the environment, for example, and I can click on device types. And in this environment, it will show you all the device types that are present, right? So you can see here there are access control systems, badge readers, building management systems, controllers, fax machines, HVAC controllers. There's an infusion pump. There's lighting devices like you have. This is a logic controller. There's like a programmable logic controller. PCs, phones, printers,
right.
Name it, it's there. Projectors, right? Smart TVs, speakers. So everything that is there in the environment, we are categorizing it. We are doing it. And this is all automated. We are not actually manually entering.
Okay.
You can say, show me all the operating systems in the environment. So for example, you can click on operating system. You can click on operating system here, and it will show you all the different operating system. It can be a real-time operating system like NER, Roku. It can be Android. All kinds of Android are there. It can be iOS. It can be Linux. If you keep scrolling, you'll see a lot of Linux kind of operating systems. Different kinds of Linux that are present. A Mac here that you see in this environment.
And this isn't necessarily telling you that there's vulnerabilities on them. This is
just inventory. This is
what it found on the system. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
All kinds of Windows. And what is interesting about these environments, you'll find all the way to Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows NT4. Right? So you find every kind of operating system. This is some of the most heterogeneous environments you'll ever see anywhere in the world. So that's what we are discovering. And there are many other ways. You can see all the models and so on.
So even if you weren't concerned necessarily about the security, just having this would let you find out if you have any Windows XP systems that are still on the network, because you would want to get rid of those or upgrade them, right?
Absolutely. Or you want to know how many IP cameras do you have. People actually don't know how many printers they have, how many IP cameras they have, how many badge readers they have. This tells you like exact inventory of what is there on the network. And then they also can find out like how are they split across your network, what VLANs they are present on, how are they distributed.
Yeah.
And if you click on like a VLAN, it actually tells you what are devices are present on the VLAN, how is it distributed. And so you can actually get understanding of your entire network, and you can even take actions here, which we'll skip for now. But you can effectively get full information about all the devices in the environment, how they're connected, how they're distributed, and where they're connected to. So you can effectively go in and you can actually look at like where are they transmitting traffic, which countries are they sending traffic to, which organizations are connecting to them. I'll let it load, which services are being used to dial out external to the organization. So this kind of visibility truly allows you to understand what's happening in the environment.
Okay, so now let's jump ahead to the next
vulnerability use case.
Yeah, so now if you're looking at the availability and if you're looking at vulnerabilities, that's the key that you want to look at, right?
That's right. So once you have visibility,
which ones are vulnerable so that I need to fix, right?
Correct. So once you have the information on visibility, you want to focus on the ones which have vulnerabilities and which ones you prioritize. So one of the unique things about Assembly is we are able to take the total vulnerabilities we analyze, and we do something called the exploit analysis, which tells you, is there a path for the attacker in this environment? There's some AI at the back that does it. But what it allows us to do is understand you have a vulnerability, but can an attacker even take advantage of it? And so when we do our analysis, is a core IP, we get it down to 0.022%. And then we translate it into devices based on impact in the environment, data impact, and so on. And here we have narrowed it down to the top 0.004% or something. So there are 4 devices in the environment out of 100,000 devices, which truly have a high risk, high likelihood, high impact.
Okay.
Right? And I can click on these devices and say, what are those devices which are high likelihood, high impact? It gives me these devices. I can click on one of these further and say, okay, show me what vulnerabilities are there. It says that the CVs, there's one potential CV, which is in something called SMB1, even though it's Windows 8. Windows 8 literally has hundreds of CVs which are old because it's an old operating system. But we have narrowed it down to one vulnerability.
Okay.
And we have a recommendation here on how do you mitigate the risk. You can click on fix and it automatically converts it into a NAC policy, which you can click on apply or download and apply.
Okay.
And so the beauty of this is you are not only taking the devices, discovering them, matching them to the vulnerabilities, prioritizing them, giving the recommendation, converting them into a NAC policy, right? And even before you apply the policy, you can run a simulator on it and you can say, okay, before I apply, let me see what would happen if I apply this policy.
Okay.
This was the policy network file share. I click on fix and you can see the big change in score, right? So you can actually simulate things in your environment.
Okay, so currently it's 9, and then you click the fix and it goes down to 4.
So I know this action is going to have a material impact in my environment.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the power of actually Assembly, because not only are we prioritizing, giving you recommendation, but we are allowing you to experiment.
Okay. Right. And then you also have analytics as well?
We also have threat detection. Now, there are other ways to mitigate, which I won't be able to. You can actually group devices and segment them. You can do micro-segmentation. There are many other ways to do it, and we integrate with pretty much every NAC and firewall. But beyond that, we have ways to actually analyze the traffic and look for anomalies, threats, like maybe there is an obsolete TLS version. It's a potential possibility for an attack. Maybe there's malware. malicious domains that it's browsing, blacklist domains it's browsing, maybe it's using default credentials. And you can drill into any one of them and you can say DNS lookup a malicious domain. Which devices are using a malicious domain lookup? Because these are probably containing malware. There might be iPhones in there. And we are doing this across all devices because malware can originate from anywhere. And then you can actually look at all this information and you can see where is the malware coming. And you can again fix quarantine and quarantine in these devices as well. Right?
Is it a situation then where a CSO hears about a vulnerability or something is publicized and that's when they would want to look at their network to see if...
So I think this requires a proactive approach. We are automatically, every day we are pulling the vulnerabilities, we are analyzing it, and you don't want to wait till something happens.
All right, so it's not necessarily that they'd be searching for a specific vulnerability, but every day
some people use a platform to search, but a bigger possibility is also that, we already prioritizing it for them. They know what is really actionable in their environment, what should be worried. Because the vulnerability, just because it's present, because of our analysis, doesn't make it at risk in your environment. Every environment is different.
Right.
And so the ability to know what is material in your environment is unique to Assembly. And then they can do a number of other things as well. They can actually do forensic analysis. We have a forensic analysis module. They can capture data. They can create policies to actually figure out if there's any low and slow attacks happening in the environment. We are launching a module for configuration control pretty much next month, and there's more coming, right? So this provides complete.
You got a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of great stuff. So obviously there's more features.
Yeah, absolutely.
And details that you'd want. So where could people go for more information about the platform?
So you can come to assembly.com and reach out to us through that. They can write directly to me, shankar@assembly.com. They can also write to info@assembly.com, get more information, right? And always available.
All right, Shankar, thanks for the demo.
Yeah, thank you so much, Keith.